Soldier buried his teammate with dirt. Another corpse was placed over him. Soon the Japanese soldiers passed right in front of them. They held their breath, too nervous to make a sound. Then one of the Japanese soldiers suddenly stopped and thrust his bayonet straight into the body. Luckily, the bayonet missed by about 2 centimeters, and Dos was able to narrowly escape. As the Japanese soldiers moved farther away, Dos quickly got up and dragged his teammate out. Facing the Japanese soldiers searching for survivors, Dos continued to desperately save lives on the battlefield. But just then, the Japanese soldiers suddenly spotted him and began firing at Dos. At the critical moment, Dos quickly hid in the tunnel, but the Japanese threw a grenade inside. Thankfully, he found cover in time and escaped again. But he hadn't expected that the tunnel was already occupied by the Japanese. He had no choice but to keep dodging in the cramped space. Suddenly, he heard a noise behind him. It was a wounded Japanese soldier. Dos quickly signaled for him to stay quiet and briefly treated his wounds. The wounded Japanese soldiers were stunned and could not believe what they saw. As night fell, Dos crawled out of the tunnel again. The wounded comrades were sent off the battlefield one after another. But he didn't stop, because every second was a race against death. Even though his hands were badly injured, he kept praying, and his faith pushed him forward.
One more. Help me get one more.
At this moment, the commander looked at the wounded in the camp in shock and immediately approached to inquire about the soldiers who had been rescued. But no matter who he asked, the answer was the same.
Dos.
Yet Dos still hadn't left the battlefield. In the midst of gunfire, he kept rescuing people until he unexpectedly saw his former instructor, who had once looked down on him. Seeing the Japanese soldiers slowly closing in, Dos quickly grabbed a rifle beside him, but not to kill the enemy. Instead, he wrapped the gun around the instructor, dragging him as they ran wildly across the battlefield. However, the Japanese army had already caught up.